Okay, Scarlett. Lo que. Oh, sorry. I'm so used to speaking Spanish when I teach Spanish. Okay, we um, discussed verb conjugation today, and what I tried to do is kind of like at the beginning, I came up with a parallel of English and Spanish, and show you how in English verbs in their infinitive form look like this, right? To play, to go, to eat, to run, and so forth. And when we speak about a person doing an action, right, when conjugating, we don't say I to play football or he to go to the library. We conjugate. He goes to the library, I play football, and etc. The only difference is that in Spanish, verbs can be sorted or categorized in three different endings. Those that finish in ar, gustar, importar, molestar, cantar, hablar. Those that end with correr, beber, and those that end in ir, vivir, abrir, etc. So going from there, okay, I also did this, and when we went over this, which you already know, is how exactly that when we are working with verbs ending in ar, okay, what changes is the ending. This is in regular verbs on the present tense, okay, and here I kind of highlighted the root or the base of the verb that stays the same, and it's just the ending that you're changing. Ar changes to o every time you're talking with yo. And just for you to memorize, yo, they're all ending o, right? When you are working with molestar, it's an ar verb. For tú, it changes to as, molestas. Third person, molesta, and so forth. I'm not going to go over this everything again because you already uh, understand how this works. Just changing the ending to the new ending to conjugate the verb. So instead of going to say to go, it's goes, right? Or instead of to play, it's she plays, etc. So we're doing the same thing in Spanish. We also talked about the past tense, which is the same idea, right? It's just remembering how the new ending, okay, for all our verbs, first person changes to e, and it has an accent when you write it. Otherwise, it will say moleste, and it does not work. So it's molesté, okay, molestaste, molestó, nosotros molestamos, ustedes molestaron, ellos molestaron, etc. Same thing with and ir, and we actually in the past tense we realize that and ir are practically the same, except no, I mean they are the same. It was on the other one that has just one difference. Okay, so it's kind of just two things that you have to remember. We also talked a little bit about well, this is a regular verbs. Okay, you just add ed in English, and what we just saw. I'm sorry, I wanted to go back. Here, it's kind of the same thing. You keep the root and change the ending. In the case of English, you just add an ending. I call this kind of like using a formula. But then we discuss some of regular verbs that they are still regular past tense, but they are special cases in Spanish. Those that end with car, gar, or zar. I know we don't say zar. I'm just saying to emphasize the z here. And I explained to you how this has more to do with the spelling rule. Okay. And again, I made a parallel with you on how English, the letter C has two sounds, the k sound and the s sound. Same in Spanish, k and s. And when you want to make the k sound with vowel E and vowel I, you have to use QU before. So it says que and ki. Ka, que, ki, ko, ku. Because when you use the C with the E or the I, it sounds se, si, always. So with this in mind, is when you have a verb like buscar, okay, it's a special case that you have to remember that you use QU. Because if you use CE, you will say busé, and that's not the word. Okay, so it's the only thing special about this that you have to remember. Same thing, another rule, letter G has two sounds, G and J in English, G and H in Spanish. And here, ga, ge, gi, go, gu. You have to use the U in between to make the G sound with the E and the I. Otherwise, they will sound he and he. And that is the case with a verb like investigar. If you just put the E here, it will say investige. But you want it to sound investigue. G. You want to keep the sound G. Hence the special case. And the other one, okay, has to do with another rule in Spanish, that when you have an initial word, okay, that has the Z, la Z, okay, and has the sound sa, okay, and you are changing it, the sound is changing to e or e, se or e, you also change the Z into a letter C. Again, in Spanish, this exists, se, si exists, but when you are making the change of sound from an initial word, okay, like almorzar, you're changing it to almorcé, the rule says that letter Z also has to change to a letter C, almorcé. Again, it's a special case that has to do with a spelling rule. In this case, you can have words with se and si with the letter Z. However, the rule is when you are changing the sound from almorzar to almorcé, from A to E, the Z changes to C. That's a special case. Okay? And this was my introduction at the beginning also, how these are special cases that we just discussed. Okay? And then we barely did an introduction, and we'll continue taking it from here, about what irregular verbs are. Okay, it's verbs that do not follow a rule. There's no formula when you change them. You just learn them as you go, as you use them. And in English, like examples as to eat, it's not to eat it, or I mean, it's not eat it. I eat it my lunch. No, you said I ate my lunch, right? It's not I go to the library. I went to the library. Or he ran a marathon. No, he ran a marathon. And I do it my homework. No, I did my homework. So that is the idea behind irregular verbs. You do have them in English, and we do have them in Spanish as well. So it's a matter of you just learning them and applying them. Okay, we'll get, I think this is, yeah, that's all we had today. And I'm gonna save this video and send it to you so you can watch it as many times as you need to, and let me know if I can be of any help until we meet on Thursday. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.